Hello. Hello, hello. Come on in the room. I need you to talk to me tonight. We are going to have a good time. I want to know where you are from. My guests are here. We are ready. I see some thumbs up, and I'm asking you to share, share, share. I need some comments. I need some comments. Come on and talk to me. Tell me where you're from. I want to hear from you. I want to put you on the screen. I want to know that you're there. And wherever you are, please share because tonight's going to be a good night. Good evening. Yes. Good evening, Tanya Curtin. I think you're from Chicago. Good evening, Miss Greta. All right, come on. Good evening, Miss Star from Chicago. Yes, yes, yes. Good evening, Audrey from Homewood. Come on, y'all, keep coming in. Let me know where you're from. Good evening, amen. Kevin Cunningham, blessings and favor, Dr. Cunningham. God bless you. Good evening, Cindy Adams. Yes, Illinois is in the house. That's right, Tanya, Baltimore. All right. I see a Slaughter in here. A Slaughter from Detroit is in here. I see a Slaughter in here. Sacramento, California. Yes. This is great. Chicago. Oh, come on now. No, not Walter Miles. Not Walter Miles. My friend Walter Miles. All right. All the way from Texas by way of Chicago. Oh, yes. Come on. Let me know who you are. Tonight's going to be a good night. Y'all keep coming in. Keep coming in. Keep coming in. Keep sharing because we got some good guests tonight. And we got some good we got some great conversation. Great conversation. I am honored tonight to have young Pentecostal professionals. I said it. I'm not taking it back. There is a such thing as being a young Pentecostal professional. And you know what? I've got them here with me on tonight. So here we go. Let's start with Alexandria. Brown. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Alexandria Burrell.
Greetings,
Alexandra. I want to say Drea. That's not it. Dra.
Yes. Greetings, everyone. Alexandra Burrell. I am originally from Muskegon Heights, Michigan, the great city of Muskegon Heights, Michigan. I am born and raised PAW, where my father, my grandfather, many of my uncles, aunts, family members are all in ministry and have served within that capacity for long before I came along. So that is my background where I'm from. I hold a doctorate in higher education administration from Morgan State University. I am currently the Chief Diversity Officer at the University of La Verne in Southern California. I also serve in capacities where I do consulting for organizations on equity leadership. I hold an LLC where I do educational advising and consulting as well. In addition to that, I work for a family-owned business where we do public relations and meeting planning for religious-based organizations, which in that capacity also served the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World for a generous amount of time. So that is me. I am here and ready and engaged and looking forward to the conversation.
Awesome. And tell us, a lot of people that are on here know you as Cake.
Yeah.
Tell me, I want to know because I don't know. Y'all, I don't know why they call it Cake. Tell us why they call you Cake.
Okay, so my mother's mother, my grandmother on my mom's side, she used to give everyone food nickname when they were born. And so when I came out, I have this birthmark on my right shoulder, and it's an odd shape, to be quite honest. But when I came out, she said it was bright red, and it reminded her of a strawberry. So in that moment, I was Strawberry Shortcake. And my mom was like, that's too long. We're not doing that. So they shortened it down to Cake. So I've literally been referred to as Cake my entire life. So anyone who knows me from church, from school, I mean, it followed me to college, it followed me in every state that I've lived in. I've lived in 6 different states. So even just thinking about that, it's like, okay, wow. So yes, Cake, and that's the origin of it.
Now I know, and now I'll probably say Strawberry Shortcake. Okay.
I'll answer.
All right. I am just honored to have this young man that God has been using mightily. Brother Jermaine Lawrence Anderson. I want you to tell us who you are. I know what you do on the church side, but I also know what you do on the professional side. Tell us about what you do in the church and what you do with I Am a Gentleman. Please, sir.
Well. Good evening. I am so honored and elated to be a part of this platform and this discussion on tonight. I am Jermaine Lawrence Anderson, born and raised in Chicago. I was born and raised on the church pew. I originally was born and received the Holy Ghost in the PCAF, the Pentecostal churches of the Apostolic Faith. Bishop 𝕊𝕒𝕒 was my uncle. So those are how far back my roots go. And certainly for the past 24 years, I have been serving on the PAW side with Bishop Horace Smith and Apostolic Faith Church in Chicago. And I wear a number of hats. I have been a lifelong entrepreneur, but about 5 years ago, the Lord impressed upon me to give back to the generation of young men that were coming behind me. So many people poured into my life. And about 5 years ago, I started a movement here in the city of Chicago that's called I Am a Gentleman, which mentors and provides leadership development to young men ages 13 to 21, trying to really change their trajectory in life. And it's been a phenomenal journey. And I'm just excited to share a little bit about it on tonight.
Wow. I Am a Gentleman. I mean, I've been telling people how it is very impactful here in the city of Chicago. And I'd love to see other people just institute that across the country. And then I want to bring in this young lady I've known all of her life. All of her life. I knew her when she was in her mama's womb. Hallelujah. This is my niece, and this is because of I'm a part of their family. She's a part of my extended family. Her mother is my god sister, so she's my niece. Joy, I used to know her as Brown. Then this guy named Tim Slaughter snatched her up. Joy Slaughter. Tell us about you, Miss Joy.
Well, my name is Joy, and like 𝐾/Dr. Burrell mentioned, I too was born and raised in the PAW. My grandfather, the late Bishop David Lee Ellis, he's my grandfather. My mother is the oldest of his children, and so it makes me the niece of the former presider, Bishop Charles H. Ellis III. And so my roots just like Kate there, and I'm going to try to stop calling you Kate on here, but you just threw it out there. But we were literally raised in the PAW. So we know each other as kids coming up. And so it's just kind of in us. Our roots just go deep. And so just like her family in the PAW, born and raised. And so that's kind of my background. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, well, the suburb of Chicago, Illinois now. I've been out here for about 6 years. My husband got a job at Victory Cathedral Worship Center, serving under Pastor Smokey Norfolk. And so that's what kind of uprooted us and got us out to the Illinois area. And it's been good. It's been good going out here. And let's see, as far as my education, I have a bachelor's degree in business administration, kind of following my family line. A lot of our family have gone into that area. And so with the examples that I've had, the wonderful examples that I've had, as I started trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, I saw myself going into that same path. So I have my bachelor's degree there with a specialization in human resources. So I serve as a HR director for charter schools in Detroit. We have 2 charter schools in Detroit, both pre-K through 8. So in the education field, and I serve in my church, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, I think you do a few little things for Just For You Ministries also.
Yeah, let's not forget about that. I also serve. So there are a few hats. I also serve as the coordinator of operations for Just For You Ministries, Pastor Sandra Riley. And I've been doing that for a few years now. And it's been great.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to ask, come on, you said something. Now you messed me up, Brother Jermaine. Now, is it elder or minister or what? What am I supposed to do with that?
Just Jermaine is fine.
Jermaine, I didn't know that Bishop Bell, the late Bishop Bell, was your uncle.
The late Bishop D. Rayford Bell, absolutely.
Oh
my roots go deep.
Yeah, y'all, you go deep, deep, deep. You go way deep.
Absolutely.
So I got all deep people on here tonight, y'all. I got deep people on here tonight. Okay, so tell me this, and a lot of people who are watching from the PAW or from any church, they know you by what you do with your church and what they see you do with Bishop Smith.
Yes.
But like you said, you started this. I am a gentleman. Is that, I got it right?
You got it right.
Okay. How do you balance the two?
Wow, that's a very great question. My entire life, I have been positioned to serve, whether it's serving in the church, serving in my family, serving in my community. And literally a few years ago, the Lord impressed upon me to serve the young men in the city of Chicago. And a part of, I think we have people watching from across the country on tonight. We know that there has been such disparity with young Black boys and young boys and men of color in the city of Chicago. We have seen them negatively portrayed in news media. We've seen them negatively portrayed on social media. We've seen police on national television say that they're afraid of, young Black boys in Chicago. And I decided that I was going to heed the voice of the Lord one more time and serve these young men. And how I serve them is simply with love, care, and compassion. So because my entire life is a life of service, it is a balance, because it doesn't compete with ministry. And really what I do with I Am a Gentleman is ministry. It's just ministry outside of the walls of the local church and ministry in the community.
Okay, great. Now, come on, tell us. I know you. I'm going with Joy. It's hard for me now to not say cake. Everybody used to say cake, and I know who they're talking about. Then they always have to tell me who you were, and I'm like, you mean? I would say, because I knew your dad a long time. So you talking about Willie's girl? What y'all said? Called that baby by her name? Tell me. So your area seems to have been education.
Mm-hmm.
You've really been heavy into the educational piece. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I mean, your grandfather, a bishop, mm-hmm. your dad, a bishop. Yep. You've got uncles that are pastoring and bishops. How do you maintain your balance with your background as a Pentecostal apostolic, but matriculate as you have done within education and higher education at that?
I'm going to be totally honest. It was very difficult. There was a sense of guilt at first. Growing up in the church, being a PK, that meant you served in whatever capacity you were needed in. That was not just what you felt like you had a gift for or what you were skilled in. It was if the sound man isn't here or if the drummer didn't show up, you getting on the drums. If somebody needs to run the camera, if the speaker needs to be paid, my mama showed me how to run the checks. If they short count offering, like literally there were so many capacities that you had to just step in and serve in. So what I grew to love was to be a part of the process, the logistical pieces in the background. I didn't have to be on the microphone. I didn't have to be in front of folks. So it was always like, what can I be doing? What can my hands be doing to help with serving in that capacity? So when I started moving away, I didn't live at home for a long time. So when I moved away, it was driving home every weekend so that I can still feel attached to my church, so that I can still feel like I was serving inside the church walls. It wasn't until I got into a place where I started seeing the changes in the students that I served, seeing the changes in the people that I worked with, seeing changes in the people that I was able to touch their lives, that I started to see the ministry outside of the walls of the church. So instead of me being guilty for not being at church every time they open the doors, or being present, physically present in that place, I started to see how I was working in different capacities. When I moved outside of the state, then it became, there's no way for me to be home every weekend. There's no way for me to tap in like that. I still sent my tithes home. I still tapped in online. I had a hard time releasing that connection, and I still have it. So when I say releasing, more of like a formality, in a formal sense, saying I'm so far away, I need to develop some type of connection where I am. But something in me was like, whatever connection I make, it can't be to the extent that it was before. I can't come into this new church and be tapped out to where I'm doing everything for everybody. Like, where am I? When am I being fed? How am I serving? Where I'm being edified, like it's edifying me as well, my spirit, man. So I had to have that whole development piece as well. So I've gotten to the point now where I mean, clearly the pandemic got all of us watching church online. So I definitely don't feel the guilt there anymore. But, you know, being able to see where the ministry was speaking in other capacities, let that guilt go. And then I started to like literally feel fulfilled in other areas of ministry and working with people. So I still have my connection to Christ Temple Apostolic Faith Church in Muskegon Heights, Michigan, 412 East Sherman Boulevard. Okay. I also have membership in Randallstown at the Tabernacle at Greater Bethlehem, where Jason Nelson. So I literally have my membership in both places, which is nowhere near Southern California. And that's okay for me because I'm still serving in other capacities while being connected, while being covered. So I had to find a balance, and I had to be okay with it. And God had to literally give me peace about it in order for it to work. So it was a long journey, but I'm here.
You know, and that's what I want everybody to hear, is that, you know, it's a journey, and God has given her peace about it. Mm-hmm. Now, Sister Joy, you have worked at the church. You have worked for family members, a part of the church, and professionally. And I thought about when Sister Burrell was talking about the guilt, then you all, because of your husband's position, you transferred to the Chicago area to a non-PAW church, where all of your roots, your great-grandfather, PAW, your grandfather, PAW, your uncle, and all of your family members, PAW. You took a step to a non-PAW church. What was that about?
I would have to say that was nothing but God. And I say that because it was nothing that my husband and I were looking for. We were very happy where we were. You know, we've both been born and raised at Greater Grace Temple in Detroit. And that was home. And that's the only ministry that we knew. So, of course, when the opportunity came, of course, there was a lot of prayer that went into it. There were a lot of tears. There was an emotional roller coaster of, God, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this. All of our family, they're all in Michigan. All we know is Greater Grace Temple. All we know is PAW. It really was, we asked God, and my husband jokes about it, but in our prayer, we basically were like, okay, God, you got to send 3 tornadoes, 2 rainbows, all in the backyard, all at the same time, so that we know that this is you. And of course, you know, we weren't speaking literally, but figuratively. And it's just amazing, the hand of God, the confirmations, the words of prophecy that was spoken by various people. And then most of all, our biggest thing was, God, if this is not you,
can't hear you.
It's not what we're supposed to do. It was, God, this was not you. Our prayer. If this is not you, if this is not what we're supposed to do, we need you to speak. And the way we specifically asked God a specific request. We said, we're going to talk to our leader, Bishop Ellis, and we're going to tell him about the opportunity. And God, you speak through him. If it's not meant for us to do this, if this is not your will, it will come through him. And we respect our leader in that way. And so we went to the office tears because I'm coming not just as a member of the church, saying this heavy weight that's on us, but I'm coming as your niece, saying we feel that this might be an opportunity that God is sending us to. And Bishop, I'll never forget the words he said. He said, some doors you just have to walk in. Mm-hmm. And there was like a peace that came over us when he said that. And he said, Grace will always be home. This will always be home. And so that right there was all that we needed to know. Okay, this is okay. It's a little bit different than what we're used to because we just believe that you just stay at your home church. I was raised in a generation basically where the ones before us, they stay at that same church. You don't church hop. And so this was the green light that it's okay. It's okay to expand your territory. You never know what God has for you on the other side. And at the end of the day, it's for his glory. And so that's kind of what helped us kind of move in something that was a little unorthodox, for us.
Yes. I like one, and I was going to ask even Kate when she put this up, this young lady, for both of you all, do you then consider that dual membership? So Joy, did you consider dual membership, or is it dual membership, or is it a job one and a membership of the other? And I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I want you to tell us what it is.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I guess it depends on how people look at it. For me, I do look at it as dual membership because on Sundays where I'm serving, where I'm getting fed is Victory Cathedral in Illinois. But my roots and my connection still remain with Greater Grace Temple as well. When I'm home, that's where I'm getting fed on Sundays. Our spiritual father is Bishop Charles H. Ellis. So it's hard for me to say, well, my membership is here or my membership is there. So I don't know. People may look at that differently, but from my own definition, I would say it's dual membership for the simple fact. And yes, my husband got a job, at this particular ministry, but because we are being fed there Sunday after Sunday, I look at it as dual membership.
Okay. What about you? Let me ask you a different way, Kate. So when you get married, where am I going for the wedding?
Ooh, Lord.
What church do I have to go to? What city am I flying into for the wedding?
This, if the Lord blesses in that spirit, I don't know that we're doing a formal like walking down the aisle. I've never really had a desire to do that. However, that's an interesting. When I graduated with my doctorate, I went closer to Muskegon. I went to Grand Rapids to have the graduation celebration. When you talk about the people who have prayed for you and covered you your entire life, you want them to share in those moments with you. So I went close enough where if folks wanted to fly in from other areas, they could. It's an airport there, but if you wanted to drive over from Muskegon, you could still be present. So I would use that as my example. The other thing I think about when people talk about membership, sometimes they're like, who are you paying tithes to? Right. And the first couple of years that after I joined the ministry in Baltimore, I literally was splitting my tithes. So I got a statement at the end of the year from both Christ Temple Muskegon and the tab because I was paying tithes in both places. I still was contributing in as best as I could to both ministries in that sense. So when people say membership, sometimes they're talking financial contribution. The other thing is, am I staying up to date? Am I keeping up with the news? My mama said, like, she'll say, oh yeah, that's my church down there too. She'll make reference of a church that she keeps up with their newsletter. She prays for them when they talk about prayer requests, when she watches the pastor online and, and catches them whenever she can, stuff like that. So for me, the celebration might be in both places.
I just want to know where to come. That's all.
They fed me in different ways. Like, your roots, your history, your foundation from birth until in Muskegon, and the growth that I experienced in Maryland was amazing. I can't just say just because I'm no longer in Baltimore or in Maryland that's no longer a part of my heart. I'm still a member there as well. So that's how I look at it. I'm still being fed by both places. I'm still watching. I'm still sowing into both as well. So.
Okay. Now I got this. I'm telling you, as well as I felt that I know you, with me not knowing that other piece, I'm got to go another couple of different directions with you, brother Jermaine. Let me say this: I'm being in no disrespect. Let me do it right. But when you left, and let's not say left, when you became a part of the PAW, is it safe to say that the PCAF was not as liberal as they are today?
It is safe to say that
Okay.
they were not as liberal. And, when I transitioned from, I really wasn't transitioning from PC of AF to PAW necessarily. I was transitioning from one church to another church,
Okay.
in essence.
Yep.
And, as all of my, friends on the call have said tonight, those were my roots, just as, we all have roots. Those were my roots. But it was a time that came, I knew that I needed to grow and develop in some different areas where I needed to make a transition for my spiritual development and for my personal growth.
Okay. And when you changed churches, could you have done what you are doing now then before you changed churches?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. I am not sure that I could have done it on this level.
Right.
Certainly, when God is going to, when God has a plan that he wants to accomplish, he's going to use someone. In this particular case, it just happens to be myself that he's using, but I'm not sure that it would have been as received, there as it is here.
Okay. Okay. Joy, have you ever felt that you might be compromising your belief with something you had to do professionally, or have to make the decision to make sure you're not compromising your foundation? Because all of you have been real clear about the fact that regardless of what you do professionally, your foundation has remained solid. That's what I want you all to hear, that regardless of what they are doing professionally, from PhD to HR of 2 schools, to owning their own a business and getting all kinds of acclaim throughout this city, the foundation has remained intact as a young Pentecostal professional. Were there times where you had to say, especially now you're doing things with education, I've got to make decisions based on this decision I have to make based on the foundation of my belief? Like, where is God in this? Where is God in this?
That's a heavy question. That's a really heavy question. And I can't say that in my profession necessarily I've had to experience where there may be a compromise. Do I see it maybe going there? Possibly, without getting too, I don't know, touchy. There are things changing in legislature that
Yes.
I don't necessarily agree with as far as my beliefs go. And even, and I'll say this, and this may even be a little touchy, even when it comes to, because in this season, you do have individuals who are in ministries as employees. So I'll even say from that standpoint, my roots have not changed. Even in a non-denominational church, and I'm not saying that the church is non-denominational. I'm sorry, but my roots have not changed. My beliefs. I'm sorry. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up.
Don't blame it on us. We're going to let you get that together. Don't you be laughing. Don't be laughing at her, Miss Alexandra. Don't laugh at her. Don't laugh at her. Come on out of your mute. Come on out of your mute. Don't laugh at her. Now, because now you getting ready. you know, this is nighttime. So, hey, guys, we can't hear me, or you couldn't hear her. You could hear me, right?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go here. This is nighttime, y'all. So this is nighttime. Okay. This is nighttime. You're in higher education.
Mm-hmm.
Example, I took a class from Yale Divinity School online a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
When it was via Zoom. We had our names up here like this. There were some who behind their name, in parentheses, had
Pronoun.
he, him,
Mm-hmm.
her, she.
Mm-hmm.
I had to text somebody right there at that time to say, hey, explain to me what's going on. And they did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How are you handling this? Because this is your profession.
Yeah.
And a lot of things that we stand for, the level of inclusion that is in our world, and especially in your field.
Mm-hmm.
How are you handling that? How are you balancing your faith and your profession? And have, are there levels of compromise? Tell us the truth. We ain't gonna judge you.
Well, I'll say this. It didn't just start to be a conflict of some sort. This was my master's is in counseling. So I'm also a licensed professional counselor. I have my national certification as well. So counseling also takes you through the tenets of being inclusive, being a helping persons develop to their full potential holistically. Not being able to pull one aspect of them out and only serving that, right? So in this aspect, being the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, there's no way that I can leave off a piece.
Say that again. You're the what?
Let's
go back. Say it again.
I'm the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer.
So you have to be equitable, diverse, and include. Hello.
Amen. And I'll be honest with you and tell you the process that I've had to go through is to just be a reminder that God is love. And that's
Say that again. Say it again. You can say that. Say it a little louder. Say it again.
God is love. And a lot of what has been instilled in me and others was more of tradition. And some of the concepts are not biblical, that we've been trained to take on and hold on to, but some that are biblical. It is a challenge when we start to tease through the ins and outs of that. And I have to remind myself at all times, God is love. So regardless of how I feel in my personal beliefs, I can't allow that to taint the way that I serve, the way that I help someone else develop. And so in that, to be inclusive, I can't choose to exclude someone because of an identity that they choose to hold, or because of a way that they choose to live their life. I have to be inclusive regardless. Like, this means if there's a difference of opinion, what we have to teach folks is just because we disagree does not mean we have to be disrespectful to each other. So how can I still serve with you? How can I still align with you, help you grow, learn from you, and at the same time respect you in that manner where we all feel included in the space? I don't have to agree with everything that you do or believe in, but I have to respect you and help you grow. So for me, the foundation, the baseline, God is love. Ooh. So what am I bringing into the room? I had a session with some folks the other day, and we were doing a little check-in, and I said, I have to check myself because what I want to bring into the room is light. Okay. And so at any point, if I'm coming into the room and I'm not bringing light, I have to check me. Not anybody else, not who I spoke with on the phone before I came in here, not the email that I saw that turned me off, not the person that's sitting across from me that I don't agree with their lifestyle, but me. Check me. Am I bringing love? Am I bringing light into the room? So if I'm operating in those tenets day to day, then I'm operating in God's will and his purpose for my life. Everything else doesn't matter.
That's good. Now, I know you have to deal with this in terms of people from different backgrounds, Brother Jermaine. I mean, you're dealing with young men from and I even saw, ethnicities. When I look at your site, ethnicities, backgrounds, and your organization is not a religious organization.
That is correct. No, we deal with, young men from various walks of life, young men who, are from the low end of the city to the suburbs of the city, young men who are from poverty to, middle class. And just as Dr. Burrell said, we are called to serve. And I just believe that, as Christians and as followers of Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ himself is not, in the flesh walking the earth every day. But we are to be his hands and his feet. We are to be that salt and light. So, my mission is, I always ask myself, okay, Jermaine, if Jesus was walking the earth right now today, what is it that he would be doing? And whatever that is that he would be doing, that's what I believe I should be doing. Whether it's serving, whether it's, delivering, families, necessities who are without, whether it's, giving a helping hand. That's what, we should be doing. And I think when you come using that approach, then you really can reach people.
Okay. I think, let's see. Mrs. Slaughter, are you back?
I'm back. And I'll just say, I have some people on here that are watching and they're so excited that they want to call me while I'm on here. So that's the situation. You all just watch me on the live.
Stop calling her. Tell us about that, because even with you in school, what's going on with you? How are you handling that? I mean, you've got your teachers are from all kinds of places, right?
Absolutely, many walks of life. So I'm so glad that Dr. Burrell talked about love, and then our brother Jermaine here talked about light and talked about salt, and that's exactly what I think about when it comes to my profession. The Bible says, let your light so shine so that men would see your good works, and glorify the Father, which is in heaven. So it's our good works and our light that allows others to see God. And so that's the main thing. And I even love, and when you, oh man, Brother Jermaine, when you said that, I love the message translation. And if I could just have a few minutes to just cite this, because it really breaks that area down. So Matthew 5:13, the message translation says, let me tell you why you are here. You're here to be salt, seasoning that brings out the God flavors on this earth. If you lose saltiness, how will people taste godliness?
Wow.
You lost your usefulness and will end up in the garbage. Then it goes on to say, here's another way to put it. You're here to be light, bringing out the God colors in the world. Now, June just passed and there were a lot of other colors going around, but this is talking about the God colors in the world. God is not a secret to be kept. We're going public with this, as public as a city on a hill. If I make you light bearers, you don't think I'm going to hide you under a bucket, do you? I'm putting you on a light stand. Now that I've put you there on a hilltop, on a light stand, shine. Keep open house. Be generous with your lives. By opening up to others, you'll prompt people to open up with God, the generous Father in heaven. So my thing is, being in the world as a professional, as a young professional, and as a Pentecostal, it gives us the opportunity to be generous. We're not just in the walls of the church. We can be generous with our lives. So we're not only touching the people in the church, because we're all involved in ministry, but we're able to touch those who will never step foot in the church. One of our greatest responsibilities as a Christian is to be fishers of men. So how can we fish if we never get close to the water?
All right. Somebody said, flex that GGT muscle. Come on here. All right now. All right. You're not taking my meetings. I don't care what you say. I want to ask this. We only have a few more minutes, but I really want to ask this. Brother Jermaine, how last summer, with all of the civil unrest and all of the things that have been happening to young Black men, how did I am a gentleman. How did you handle that with the black men, young black men you're leading?
Oh, it was very difficult. I'll take you back 1 year ago. July 4th weekend in 2020, not 2021, in 2020, there were over 80 folks shot in our city. And many of those who were shot were fatal. And our young men said, we must do something about this. So we put together a full-fledged funeral service. And we invited the mayor, the police chief, and several city officials to this funeral service that was held at the Chicago Police Headquarters. And our young men marched in as pallbearers carrying coffins of different sizes. And the audience of the funeral service were all of the officials in our city. And we started out the presentation by saying, this is not right. It may be normal, but it's not. It may be common, but it's not normal. Right. And our young men held a panel discussion that evening that was called The Cry, where they were using their voices to cry out to say, these fatalities in our neighborhoods, in our backyards, in our city is affecting us, but we believe that we want to be a part of the solution. And we're so proud of the young men who have committed themselves to our organization, because since March of 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, they have remained at the forefront of community service. Just like so many other organizations had to pivot and shut down, we had to shut down for a few weeks as well. But April of 2020, all the way until now, our young men can be found in the Chicagoland area serving each and every month, serving others, whether it's passing out PPE, delivering fresh groceries to those who don't have food to eat. Our young men every single Sunday provide warm meals to more than 150 families in our entire city, because they're saying that we want to be a part of the solution, not just portrayed as part of the problem.
Ooh, I love that. I want you all to know that we have a responsibility, not just to the church, but we have a responsibility to the community. And that's what I want you to hear, how these young Pentecostal professionals, they are being salt in the earth. They are. And if you are one of them and you feel like you are being hindered, I want you to see the example right here.
And Pastor Riley, can I interject one thing?
Sure.
I agree, and this is going to be a little bit controversial, but yes, we are called to be salt in the church, salt in the community, but I think there's a step beyond that, and this is the controversial part. I also think that we're called to be salt and light in the kingdom. Mm. And so many times, folks like us who grew up in the church think it's all about the church. But, God really helped me understand this about 10 years ago, that the church is just a small piece of the kingdom. And I cannot begin to tell you, just for me, I'm not speaking about anybody else, I am more fulfilled serving in the kingdom than I am in the local church.
Wow.
Now, I think you can attest that I serve in the local church.
Yes, you do.
I serve my pastor. I serve on various ministries. But at the end of the day, I am so much more fulfilled serving in the kingdom than I am in the local church.
Ooh, I love it. Now so let's go here. Let's go here. I want to ask, I'll start with Joy, then I'll come back to Bruce. Now, Joy, so then what if you are, and I know this happens, you are a young professional like yourself, like Sister Kate, like Brother Jermaine, and you got all of these positions within what we call the secular arena. Well, but the church wants you to wait before they put you in a place of leadership. Speak to that, because you got people that is the case. And I was listening to some millennials not too long ago, just this past week, and some of them were saying, "Hey, we're not going to sit on the bench and wait on you to call us in the game anymore. We're going to start our own game." So go ahead, go ahead.
And it's a little disheartening that that's still the storyline, because this generation, we have so much to offer. We just need the opportunity. And sometimes it's that older mentality is just, you're not wise yet because you haven't reached 55 and, you need to get to this level. You haven't seen enough. But I would have to disagree with that, because like you said, yes, the world, the corporate world, they're actually looking for the younger ones. They're actually, and it's like, we kind of got it wrong. We don't have it right in the church, because it's like, you have to look at the next generation. That is your future. So if you're not plugging in that next generation, then you're saying that you don't care about your future, and ultimately you won't have one. The church won't have a future. You have to plug in that next generation. The CEOs, these presidents, they understand at a certain age, I'm going to retire. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm going to retire. I want to be on the golf course. I want to be on my plane. I want to see the world. So I am already looking at the next. I'm already plugging in the next team that's going to take this corporation, it's going to take this business to the next place. But I can't say that that happens in the church, and we've got to do a better job at that, because we have a lot of talented, anointed people who are ready.
Who are ready. Okay. Now this is my last one.
Wait,
I don't want to hold you on.
Can I?
I'm gonna let you. Okay, come on in, girl. Come on in, Kate. I can't let Kate not do it. Go on, Kate. I knew you were gonna say something, but come on in, Kate.
Well, I really just wanted to interject and just add on to what Joy said. She's so right. But the other piece of that is a lot of our current pastors, bishops, leaders are stuck in their way of doing things, and they are not ready for a new vision or perspective to come in. So if you're trying to reach this new generation of people that you have in your church, let's be very clear. You're not still dealing with who you were dealing with 40 years ago. You have new members, you have babies in Christ. You have folks that need to be developed in different ways to be able to contribute to society in a different way. So how are you still going about church the way you've been going about church the last 50 years and expecting to really touch these folks? That's not reality. And I think the pandemic actually put that into perspective for a lot of folks that said, okay, we have to step outside of the box and start thinking different ways on how we reach people. But at the same time, now folks are reverting back to, well, we able to go back into church, so we're gonna go ahead and do our 8 a.m. service and our noon service, and then we're gonna do our midnight cry. And they still haven't adopted the mentality that, okay, this is a new generation. What types of programming or services are we putting together that bridges the gap between spirituality, religion, and career, or entrepreneurship, or financial literacy, and things of that nature? Like, how are we really bridging that gap to serve our current population of folks within the church walls? That's the piece. That's why they're not ready to make that transition and elevate the young professionals. That's why they're not ready to put them into place, because they're not ready to relinquish the old way of doing things, and they're gonna stay in that way, and they're gonna lose a lot of folks. Well, we praying that ain't happening, but in Jesus' name, that's that's the other piece that we got to let that go. It's 2021.
That part.
She said that part. Now, okay, this is the last one. I'm bringing you in. Bring you in, Brother Jermaine. So you get ready now.
All right, I'm ready.
And the rest of y'all be ready to do it right. Do it right, Brother Jermaine. Before we leave here tonight, what would you say to young Pentecostal professionals who have experienced church hurt in the name of tradition?
Wow. What an intriguing question. It would really piggyback off of something that I just said. And that is, make sure that you understand that the church is just a piece of the kingdom. God has called us to the kingdom, literally to the ends of the earth. And I think that as Christians, as believers, as professionals, we should make sure that we are attached to the church, because that's where we go to get fed, and that's where we receive nourishment week after week. But that's only a stopping place until we get to the kingdom. That's only where we go to receive our fuel. But make sure that we don't, stop in the church and miss the entire kingdom.
Okay. What say you, Sister Joy, your last remarks? Come on and talk to them now. Talk to talk to the people, church hurt. And I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking specifically about the young Pentecostal professionals who experienced it in the name of of tradition. Maybe it had to do with the way they were pursuing their career and all. There was a time Sister K couldn't be doing nothing on no diversity, inclusion, and all that. Girl, God ain't in that. You need another job. That's not God. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, church hurt is very real. I've experienced, it on the sidelines. I've had people close to me who have experienced some serious church hurt. And my thing has always been, know the word for yourself, because people are going to always fail you. And unfortunately, the church is not an exemption to that. So everybody may at some point in their life experience some form of church hurt. For me and the situations that I've, had with close friends that I know have gone through things, my advice to them has always kind of been, seek God. What does God say in this situation? Did God tell you to leave this ministry? Not acting off emotions, but what did God say? Are you getting fed? Now it's another story. If you're not getting fed and you're being hurt, it may be time to move on. And that's something about this generation. We don't just stay at churches just because our grandmother went there, just because our mother went there. We want to be somewhere where we're being fed. So that's the ultimate thing. If you're being fed there, then you look past the man and see if he's getting his information from God, and what he's still speaking out his mouth is the word of God, then you receive that word. My grandfather used to say, you chew the meat, spit out the bones.
Spit out the bones.
And so that's my biggest piece of advice for those types of situations.
Okay. Oh, last but not least, come on, Reverend Dr. Kate. Your mother like that with Reverend Dr. Kate Burrell.
You know what? I'm just going to add on, because what they've already said is spot on. I'm going to add on professional help. Because a lot of times, sometimes it's deeper than just saying, I can push past this and go back into the church and sit next to these folks or sit under this folk. Sometimes we have to do the work outside of that. I am a firm believer of counseling and therapy. There is nothing wrong with that. I actually encourage it for an outlet, for support, for guidance, for development. It is healthy to get all of that stuff off of you so that you can really go back in a mindset where you're able to receive. If you go back in and you're in fight or flight mode, if you go back in and your neural diversity is not aligned, you're not receiving anything that the man of God or the woman of God is spitting out, whether it's coming from the Lord or not. You're not going to receive any of it because you're still carrying so much, and you are not in a position to receive. So I encourage persons, if they've gone through church hurt, if they've experienced something and they're not able to process that on their own and they're still struggling, to seek out counseling or therapy before trying to just fight through and sitting in a place where you're harboring ill feelings for someone, where you have negativity all around you. Therapy and Jesus. Exactly. Therapy and Jesus. That's it. Like I truly encourage that on top of everything that's already been said. So I'll just leave that.
I love this. And I'm going to tell you all, I think the conclusion of the whole matter when it comes to the church hurt piece, I think with summing up everything that they've all said, let's get with therapy and Jesus. Or
therapy and Jesus. I like it.
Or Jesus and therapy. It's okay.
Okay. Absolutely.
We can do the other way around. Jesus and therapy. Now, I want to say to you, to everybody that's watching, you're going to be seeing more information on my platforms about this on the 30th of July, the Pentecostal Assemblies of the World is having their national convention, and I've been commissioned by the presider to put together this panel for discussion. And we gonna have some talking going on here. Let me take this other thing out of here. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna be discussing what's going on here as it relates to position for the promise, letting the generation speak. Unfortunately, Dr. 𝕊𝕒𝕟𝕕𝕒 will not be able to be a part of that, but you see the other speakers here: Bishop Charles Ellis, Elder Aaron Porter, Pastor Vicki Taylor Samuels, Pastor Tiandria Ellis, and Pastor Tim Slaughter. They will be there with me. We've got some good conversation. We're going to continue to talk about this piece about church hurt. We're going to talk about where do we go from here as with a multi-generational ministry, you know, because it's like they're saying, you know, they're not going back. Y'all young people, y'all not going back to midnight prayers and stuff like that. How do we move forward, not just with what we went into the pandemic with, but what we have now with this multi-generational ministry? How do we move forward? That's going to be Friday, July the 30th at 4 p.m. on the PAW's platform, of their Facebook platform, their YouTube platform. And I'm just extending an invitation for you to be a part of that with me. All right. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Well, all of my friends are here. Let's see what else we got. We got so much. Y'all saying some good. Y'all got some good stuff. Okay. God bless you. Every wound has to be healed. That's right. Demons sit on. Ooh,
Wow.
did y'all see that?
Wow.
That's Pastor Doris.
Wow.
Demons sit on wounds. Y'all better watch that. All right. This was eye-opening. Awesome. Jesus and therapy. Get both. Yes. All right. Now, this is awesome. I'm telling you, this will be done again. I'm going to be bringing you all back again. We're gonna do a follow-up. Maybe we'll do a follow-up. I'll get with you. I ain't gonna let y'all get away. Maybe we'll do a follow-up after the convention and kind of, you know, we do a decompose what we talked about in that panel discussion. Okay. But for all of you that are watching tonight, I want to say thank you. This will remain up on the platform. You got friends that you say, hey, y'all missed the live, but it's still on the platform. It will be there for them to come back, watch it. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, because we want to be a blessing to you. Just for You Ministries, the ministry that God has blessed me with. Our theme is, this is a ministry that is just for you. So thank you to all of my guests. Thank you guys. I love you so much. And listen, everybody, don't forget on the 30th. And those of you who follow the prayer, you're going to be getting information. But this is Prayer Monday. This is Prayer Monday. Don't you dare forget, this is Prayer Monday. So you want to make sure that you tune in and be a part of the prayer. This is Prayer Monday. This is this is Prayer Monday. Wrong date, but same information. Prayer Monday, 30 minutes of prayer that can change your life. So get on the phone and meet us in prayer for Prayer Monday. I'm so excited. I thank God for you. God bless you.